Hey gang, I'm Casual from Casual GG. Welcome to another build video. Today we have a very powerful solo casual werewolf, which is very balanced. It has enough survivability and yet it hits like a truck as well. In the background, you guys can see my playthrough using the build. It's going against the ascended world boss in High Isle. These guys are so tough that some of the ads can just one-shot us with the amount of life leech and AoE and the burst damage this world boss has. I'll also show footage of a solo fight against the Sable Knight and also a vent in High Isle, just to show you guys how this build fares when you are casually soloing content. So for the attributes, what we have is a balanced split between life. Most of it goes to life and a little bit goes to stamina. One thing about solo playthrough casually is that we make mistakes in contents, and how the build should be is that when you get hit, you can still walk away, heal up, and then you can complete the content, right? That's gonna be the objective of a casual solo build. So you put 42 points to health. That would give you a good healthy 31 plus K life. 22 remaining attributes go into stamina. I know one of the worry that you guys might have is the stamina pool you see on the screen is only 24k plus. If you guys see the stamina on the actual playthrough, which is running in the background, werewolves are unique. As soon as you transform, you get another 30% bump in your stamina pool, so eventually it becomes 31 plus k stam, almost 32k. In terms of race, Khajiit works well. Very balanced spread of resource you gain, and also good sustain built into the race. For the Munderstone, the lover indeed, that brings enough penetration that you can walk into a veteran dungeon and still do well. For food, Bewish Sugar Skulls, most balanced food you can use on a werewolf. Then we move on to the main set pieces we are using. To start off, we're using Stormface, Monster Helm, and also the shoulder. This is great because it makes up for more damage. It's one of the hardest hitting monster set in the whole game. And another attractive reason to use Stormface is that first line item. It gives you stamina regen. One of the heart of building a good werewolf build is stam regen, because the skills hit hard but they're also very expensive. So Stormface is just a perfect set for that. The second set we're using is a very easy craftable set. You guys just can ask one of your guildies to craft it for you. Dragon's Appetite is the set, and it's good because the 4-piece gives you one line of weapon and spell damage, which is great for a werewolf, and 2 lines of stam recovery. Perfect piece for a werewolf. And of course, the third piece, we need damage on the build, so we're gonna use the best proc set in the whole game, Pillars of Nirn. Guys, I know as a solo casual player, farming dungeons might not be the thing for you guys, but if ever you're gonna spend time working hard to farm a dungeon, farm Falkreath Hole. When I farmed Falkreath Hole long time ago, I couldn't even finish the dungeon, I'll be honest with you guys. The sets I have and the skills I had, I could only do the first boss and the second boss, which is the mammoth, and that's it. So I would go in, do both of the bosses, get my drop, and then go out, reset, and do it again. Slowly I had enough pieces and my gears got better, and then I could do Falkreath Hole on normal mode myself, and I just farmed the hell out of it to get the full set. In terms of mythic, good old Oaken Soul for sure. Even when you're out of the werewolf mode, single bar, easy to use, and werewolf just benefits whole lot with the Oaken Soul. So this table summarizes the whole setup of your gear. So it shows all the sets you need to use, where it should go for, what are the weight, what are the traits for each of the gear pieces, including your weapons, and also the enchantment which you need to buy from guild traders to put inside. One word of advice: spend money on the enchantments. Get all gold graded ones because they give you the best bang for the buck. Now we look at the skill lines. The class I'm using for this build is a Templar. It synergizes well with the Werewolf build and just works good. All you need from this skill tree is just the Burning Light passive and Balanced Warrior. For Dawn's Wrath skill line, Power of the Light is the active skill we're going to use. One of the hardest hitting burst damage skill in the Templar kit. We will take that. And in terms of passives, what you'll need is Prism, Illuminate, and Restoring Spirit. For Restoring Light skill line, we will take Ritual of Retribution, one of the biggest AoE damaging skill I think in the whole game. Fantastic active skill. And in terms of passive, just take all the passives. Then we come to the weapon skill line, Dual Wheel. Bloodthirsty is going to be our spammable, very good hard hitting, and it will heal you back. And then Deadly Cloak, again AoE damage, and it gives you major evasion. This is juicy because that's 20% damage reduction from AoE attacks. In terms of passive, take all the passives in the skill tree. Next would be the light armor skill line. Take all the passives, they are all going to benefit for you. And the next one is medium armor. Again, take all the passives. This is gonna give you so much of stamina regen and also increase your damage. Next we have the Undaunted skill line. If you haven't maxed it out, max this out because the last passive in this skill line gives you 2% more resource, all 3 resource for every type of armor piece you have. So we have light and medium, we get 4% increase, and that's just amazing for a werewolf build. The next one is from the assault skill line. Resolving Vigor is going to be the active heal we're going to use. One of the best healing skill in the game currently. And don't forget to take continuous attack, just 1 point in that passive, because that's just going to make your mount move 30% faster. It's an amazing speed. Now for all of you guys, you don't have to do PvP to get this, right? To unlock this, all you have to do is just go to any of the Cyrodiil instance. Once you go in there, there'll be a short tutorial on how to use siege weapons and so forth. You can finish it in 5 minutes and you will have Resolving Vigor and continuous attack unlocked. Must do. And the next one is the Khajiit skill line. Take all the passives. The next one is under Alchemy, take medicinal use. This is an important passive because when you guys fully rank it up, it's going to give you 30% longer lasting potions. This is how, when you guys use those try potions in difficult contents, the passive buff which you get after drinking a potion will last you until the cooldown of the potion is done. And then you can drink another potion. Very important passive to have. And the last one is from the provisioning skill line. 2 passives for Gourmand and Connoisseur. Gourmand is for food, Connoisseur for drinks. You know, things like Bewitched Sugar Skulls are expensive food you're gonna get from guild merchants. This passive makes them last longer. Next, this is the skill bar when you're not a werewolf. You know, the most important thing to do is keep skill number 4 always up. Skill number 2, make sure if you're fighting it's on the ground and it's just damaging everything around you. Skill number 3, if you're fighting an elite or a boss, put it on them, it will debuff them, take all your damage and burst it back to them. And skill number 1 is your spammable. Just go to town, you know, bloodthirst them, you will heal back and you do tons of damage. Skill number 5, your heal, it's your burst heal. If you're in a tough fight, you can also use it because it buffs you with damage mitigation. Now next, let's look at our werewolf skill line. So let's start with the morph. So you have two morphs. You have Berserker and you have Pack Leader. On tooltip, the Berserker looks to be doing more damage because it has bleed and also a cleave damage as well, while the Pack Leader looks like a more tanky option because it has an unnamed 10% damage reduction, which is great because it stacks with other stats as well. And it gives you minor courage. Now minor courage can be omitted because open soul gives you that already. So kind of look like Berserker is better in terms of damage, but there is a hidden debuff which the Pack Leader does to your target, and that's gonna equalize the gameplay. So what the Pack Leader does is it calls two dire wolves, and these dire wolves do physical damage constantly and they rarely die, right? Their damage has been nerfed. It's almost insignificant in terms of damage. But if you guys noticed earlier in my gear, I was using two charged daggers, and the reason for that is because of these dire wolves. If you have fully charged weapons, these dire wolves will proc minor breach 90+% of the time on your target, right? So that's just amazing. It passively happens and you can continue fighting and do whatever you're doing. So with that in place, in a veteran dungeon type of scenario, the damage from the Pack Leader and the Berserker is pretty much close to each other. So with damage being close to each other, Pack Leader comes with 10% damage reduction as well. So that makes Pack Leader the preferred morph for this build. And another thing I like about the Pack Leader as well is you can stay in werewolf form longer, right? When you're in a dungeon and so forth, no matter how much I try, if you're in a Berserker werewolf form, you're rushing, no time to look around, find loot crates, find chests and so forth, because you're worried that you're going to fall off the werewolf form. While in a Pack Leader, you have longer time as a werewolf, so you can take your time, go find loot. And next we shall look at the active abilities your werewolf's gonna have. So Brutal Pounce, amazing skill where you pounce into your target and swipe to do bleed damage, and every swipe you increase your damage as well, so it's a beautiful skill. Her Scene's Fortitude is what you're gonna have. This is gonna give you more healing, and you need that as a solo casual player to heal up when you get hit. Deafening Roar is the one which gives you major breach, also fears them, good overall debuff to have. Howl of Agony is the spammable for the werewolf. It hits like a truck, and if you howl on someone who's already feared or you howl from the front, you'll get 25% more damage. And then Claws of Life, again another damage over time on a cleave area, and every person hit, as they take damage, they're gonna heal you back. Other than that, for all the passives, take it because you'll need it as a werewolf. So this is how the active skill bar should be set up for this build. In terms of how to use it, I would just say go ahead, use this build. You'll have enough survivability, just have fun with your werewolf transformation. One thing I would say that you guys need to get used to is when you guys do your Deafening Roar, it will proc off balance, and whenever you see any target having an off balance proc where they have that twirly on their head, immediately follow it up with 1 or 2 heavy attack, right? That's important because it feeds into your sustain. Now then, let's look at the CP skill tree. This is the layout of my green CP skill tree. I'm CP 1500++, so you guys can work towards this point allocation. In terms of active CPs, this will be the 4 which I use: Treasure Hunter, Rationer, liquid efficiency, and Steed's blessing. This is the overall blue CP allocation I have, something for you guys to work towards. So in terms of the slottable blue CPs, we have Weapon Expert. Very important because it's going to bump up all your light and heavy attack by 20%. Very important to have. Master of Arms, because every direct damage that you guys going to do is going to be bumped up, and werewolves do a lot of direct damage. The next one is Deadly Aim, because single target attacks are gonna be buffed up. We have a fair bit of hard hitting single target damage. And then the final one is Wrathful Strikes, because it's gonna make all your abilities hit harder. There's also 4 passives that must be had in the blue tree because it gives damage mitigation. I would even do this before the active skill so that you guys have mitigation, and then you can slowly work out into those active skills which will increase your damage. Overall, it's gonna give you a little bit more healing, but it's gonna give either physical or magic damage. You guys gonna have additional 12% damage reduction, and that's huge in this game. For the red tree, this is the overall allocation, and in terms of active CPs on the red tree, we have Boundless Vitality for more health, Fortified for more armor, and Rejuvenation for more sustain, which is important. Celerity is gonna give another 10% movement speed. You will have so much of movement speed in a werewolf form, so you don't have to dodge everything. Sometimes you can just walk away from an AoE, and that saves your stamina overall. And that wraps it up, guys. That's the build. It's a fun build. Go ahead, try it out. Please subscribe and like the video. As you guys can see on the screen, we are having a free giveaway. So the current goal of the channel is to get 1,000 subscribers, and then the subscriber who's interacting or commenting the highest in the channel is gonna get a free copy of the deluxe version of the Necrom upgrade. And a final shout out to Lycanthrope Gaming and Panda Bender. These are 2 guys I've been following from my early days, and I learned a lot about werewolves from these guys. Go check their channel out. With that, guys, thanks for watching the video. I'm Casual, and GG's.